you're looking at new homes in California and you just found out that every single one comes with solar panels on the roof, and that's by law. So most buyers have no idea this is even a thing until they're sitting down with the home builder. But here's where it gets interesting. You're going to be asked to sign paperwork choosing how you want to pay for those solar panels. And most people just sign whatever the builder's solar vendor puts in front of them without realizing there may actually be three completely different options. And the one you pick will affect your monthly payment, your closing costs, and even how easy it is to sell your home down the road. So in this video, I'm going to take a deeper dive into what buy, lease, and power purchase agreement solar options actually mean in plain English, so you don't get stuck with the wrong choice. So stick with me. By the end, you'll know exactly which option makes sense for your situation. So I'm Steve Enchen, your Southern California new construction home expert, and every week I help folks just like you buy beautiful brand new construction homes, and we have a fun, low stress experience working together. Now, since 2020, California law requires solar on all new single-family homes. But here's the catch. The law says you need solar. It doesn't say how you have to own it or pay for it. So in most communities, you've got two options, buy or lease. And with some townhomes, you could also be able to sign up for a power purchase agreement or PPA. And the choice that you make affects three things. One, your closing costs, because buying means the system gets added to your home price and mortgage payment unless you increase your down payment to cover the extra cost. But a lease or PPA means you're signing a separate contract that your lender has to approve. Your monthly payment also changes because buying solar may mean a higher mortgage payment if you finance it, while a lease or PPA means a separate monthly bill on top of your mortgage. And finally, your resale options, because buying solar means clean transfer as the solar is owned and just transfers with the home to the new buyer. But a lease or PPA means the next buyer has to take over your contract. And if they don't qualify or they don't want it, then you got a problem. And I've seen this happen more frequently than you might imagine. So let's take a look on how each one actually works. So first, when buying solar, the builder will add the solar cost to your purchase price, and it's typically maybe $25,000 to $35,000 for a larger detached home. But it could be as low as $10,000 for a smaller townhome. And you can finance it with your mortgage over 30 years or pay it off at the time of purchase by just increasing your down payment. You own the panels, they're yours. If something breaks, you got to handle it, but most systems will come with a 25-year manufacturer warranty. Now, while the solar tax credit is expiring officially, the end of December 2025, if it ends up being extended retroactively by a future Congress, you could potentially receive a significant tax credit on your solar purchase. Now, if added to your mortgage, your payment could go up maybe about $150 to $200 a month, depending on your interest rate. But when you sell your home, it's simple. The panels are part of the house. There's no separate agreements to transfer. In fact, including free solar with your home actually makes it easier to sell, and some of that initial cost can be recouped from a potentially higher selling price. Now, with a lease, we have a different situation altogether. The solar company installs and owns the system, and they maintain it for you. You pay them a flat monthly fee, which can be anywhere from $100 to $175 a month, and maybe for about 20 to 25 years. Your home purchase price is lower because you're not financing the system, but you've got a new extra monthly bill that's separate from your mortgage. Now, here's what they don't always mention up front. That payment could go up every year because many solar leases have a 2 to 3% escalator built in. So if you start by maybe $150, by year 10, you could be paying $190. By year 20, you're over $240. But if something breaks, the solar company fixes it. That's their responsibility. But when you sell, the new buyer has to qualify to take over your lease. If they don't want it or don't meet the solar company's credit requirements, you either need to buy out the lease, which could be a significant amount, or the deal could fall apart. Now, the solar company gets any tax credit available, not you, because they own the system. A PPA is a similar setup to a lease. The solar company owns and maintains the system. But instead of a flat monthly lease fee, you're paying for the electricity the panels produce. It's usually at a fixed rate per kilowatt hour. So it's almost like there's a second utility company billing you that just happens to be sitting up on your roof. So let's say the PPA is contracted to bill you 12 cents per kilowatt hour. If the system produces 800 kilowatt hours in a month, you pay the company $96. If it produces 1,000 kilowatt hours, you pay $120. So your bill fluctuates based on how sunny it is and how much energy those panels are producing. And just like a lease, that rate could escalate every year. And when you sell, the buyer has to take over the agreement. And if they won't, you're looking at a buyout, which may not even be an option with some PPAs. So use caution and read every single word of that PPA agreement. Now you're thinking, which one should I pick? And that's exactly what I can help buyers figure out. And it's one of the most common questions I get, hence I really needed to make this video. It really depends primarily on your budget, your timeline, and what matters most to you. So if you want to talk through your specific situation, I'd be happy to walk you through it. There's a link down in the video description below to book a no obligation call with me where you can ask any questions you have about solar or about any new home topic. And if you find this video useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Now, let's keep going, and here's the thing most people don't think about until it's too late. If you lease or have a PPA, the next buyer has to take over that contract, and that could be a problem, as I've already mentioned. So let me give you a real example. You're selling your home 10 years from now. You've got another 10 years left on a solar lease at, $175 a month. The buyer loves your home until they find out they're taking on an extra $175 a month that's not part of the mortgage. Some buyers may ask you to credit them at closing to cover the added expense of the remaining lease payments. Well, that's $21,000 in this example, so how about no way? Other buyers may just walk away. And if their lender, looks at that solar payment and decides it pushes their debt to income ratio too high, they may not qualify for the loan at all. So now your buyer pool just got smaller. And I've seen deals fall apart over this. It's not common, but it does happen. And remember, if you buy the system, there's no contract to transfer. Those panels are a part of the house, just like the roof, clean and simple. But one more thing, if you're leasing or doing a PPA, your lender has to approve that agreement before you can close. That means you have extra paperwork, extra time, and if there's any delay with the solar company, which actually is common, it can push back your closing date on your new home purchase. And for a future resale, there's actually one more risk that I want to bring up. Even if that future home buyer's lender approves them to take over the lease payment or PPA, there's still the chance that the solar company may end up declining the home buyers and refusing to allow the transfer. And I've seen that happen too. So here's my honest take. Again, for most buyers, buying the system makes the most sense if you can afford the higher mortgage payment or have extra cash available. There is one thing I always try and do for my new home buying clients is negotiate for the solar to be included. It's not always a successful strategy, but I always say if we don't ask, then the answer is always no. In some cases with the quick move-in homes, I've seen quite a few builders include solar in the purchase price just to help move the home. So that's something we want to look out for. But if your budget is really tight and you need to keep your monthly payment as low as possible, a lease or PPA might be a better option. So just understand that you're trading lower upfront costs for potential complications down the road. So before we write that offer on a new construction home, we want to find out, is the solar owned or leased, and do you have an option? Is there a PPA, and do you have an option? Is that choice mandatory? Well, in some townhome communities, it actually is. It's only a lease. So find out what are the terms of the lease. What's the monthly payment? Who is the solar company? And then ask to see a copy of the solar company lease or PPA agreement. You cannot not have solar. There's no option for that, but you want to make an informed decision about it. So if you're in the market for a new construction home in Southern California and you want to walk through which option makes sense for you for the new home or solar or other amenities that you can choose for your home, I'd be happy to help. Again, you can schedule a free consultation with me. The link is down in the video description. There's no pressure, just some clarity. And I thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.